Let's go to Chris Wyant. Chris, the floor is yours, my friend.
Okay. Thank you. I have something that is a little bit different, I think, than what
All
I've
right.
seen on here. Um, Let me see if I can get this punched up. Start my slideshow. Um, so this is a taco trailer. Think taco truck, but instead of food truck, it's a food trailer. Technically, it would be able to be moved, but it's not. It's in a stationary place. And I'm sorry, Michelle wasn't able to be here. Crazy. She had a doctor's appointment for 6 months in Steamboat while we're living in Denver, so she had to be out of town. And then, of course, we got this crazy snowstorm. But a little bit about, it's a standalone taco trailer, small mid-Atlantic beach community. It's a 14-year-old business. This little thing is cranking 1 million in revenue and 430,000 in EBITDA average for the last 3 years.
That's a lot of tacos, Chris.
It's crazy.
I love
It's a
tacos.
season. Yeah, I got my Taco Beast t-shirt on. I'll show you later. It's a seasonal business. It's closed December, January, February, most of March. The owner told me their off season, they close, or their season starts Easter and closes on Thanksgiving. Open 7 days a week, only from 8 to 3. Small retail component, only 5%. Think selling t-shirts. 8 employees, including the current owner who works in the business. But I do not consider the current owner the key employee. The key employee is the gentleman who founded it, and he runs the kitchen. He's the chef. And the business is actually still named after him. So kind of an interesting dynamic I need to dig into a little more. A little bit about us. Since 2013, Michelle and I, we've owned and operated a commercial cleaning business in Steamboat Springs, Colorado. So it's a small mountain resort town. This is a small, think East Coast beach resort area. Even though we own a cleaning company, really my lane is have 20 plus years as an executive chef. Most recently, from 2006 to 2020, I was executive chef at Steamboat Ski and Resort Corporation. So I've been a chef, really just a ski bum. But I cooked a little bit on the way. While working at Steamboat, I helped create the Taco Beast, which is still running today. It's on mountain food truck mounted on a snowcat.
Nice.
Michelle ran the day-to-day for the cleaning company while I still had my W-2. Now we share those duties. We currently live in Denver while our business is in Steamboat. We moved down here for our daughter to finish high school. Just to show you the Taco Beast, I think it's kind of fun and interesting. The other reason I kind of showed this was, when you talk about building rapport, mentioning the Taco Beast, all I had to do was say Google Taco Beast. And it was crazy the amount of rapport I built with, it is a broker deal, with the broker, the owner of the business, and the broker's lender, if you will. They had a letter from an SBA guy that said he would do it. But as soon as I said, Google Taco Beast Steamboat, I've done this, they were like, they were all over it. Growth opportunities. This is one of my favorite things of this deal. Number one growth opportunity, they're not selling any sort of alcohol. Let's just sell beer.
That's criminal. That's amazing.
I know, isn't it? To me, it's just so basic. It's in a state where they have liquor licenses, and some states have the beer and wine only licenses, which are much cheaper, much easier. Number two, increase hours. Add a daily happy hour. If you wanted to get crazy, maybe some sort of little tiki bar. Like I said, this trailer is in a location that doesn't move. They've actually added a little storage building. They have a little hut they sell t-shirts out of, and then they actually have a walk-in cooler. So they have it kind of set up. It's not going anywhere. Also replication, same proven concept, different location. I mean,
Yeah, tons
the
of things.
real growth opportunity in this business, it's only, you're only going to squeeze so much out of it where it is.
I think,
It's
Chris,
crazy the numbers.
I think, Chris, you create 5 of these, then you franchise it.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting you say that, Carl. So here's my replication model. It's probably super difficult to understand the way I put it together, but I did a little research, and I'm just talking about if I only added one of these a year in a different location for 150 grand, I can be all in. I can buy a brand new trailer, a brand new walk-in. I just got to find a place to put it. Saying that, this is a little bit of the unicorn. It's doing 1 million revenue. I'm not going to say that every brand new one I'm going to do is doing 1 million revenue. So if I only do 600,000 my first year on doing one, and I only make 30%, which is a good 10, 12% less profit percentage, 180,000 EBITDA, 30,000 of debt service, I'm still making $150,000 after debt service profit. The way I did this year 2, that would be like the same taco trailer that I can go year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, just adding 10% revenue a year. The only kicker I kind of did is after year 3, I'm assuming I can be a little more efficient. Instead of making a 30% EBITDA, I kicked it up to 32.5 for year 4, year 5.
Very, very, very conservative. I love it.
I think it's super conservative. And guess what? What if you got all crazy and I opened 2 new taco trailers a year?
Yeah.
Who knows what could happen? So that's kind of what I'm doing. Just a quick little, say 6-year projection, just adding 1 trailer a year. My original one's still going to be at 1.14 million because I'm not going to add that much to it. But I could be doing another $3 million in the additional 5 trailers. Each one, 2, 3, 4, 5, and just doing one a year. That takes my EBITDA to about 1.6 million. After debt service profit, 1.3 million. So it's kind of crazy thinking about these. And again, it's definitely my lane. I've been a chef for ski resorts for 25 plus years. So I understand the seasonality of the business, hiring seasonal employees, the way you run a seasonal business. And the beauty of this thing is, for 4 months, you lock the doors and go home. In the first deal we were looking at, we were talking about, man, we need to have some money to make it through the off season. These guys lock the door and go home. The rent they're paying on their space is $1,200 a month.
Wow.
So at the end of the day, those 4 months you're closed, your overhead is $1,200 a month. Now, I'm not saying that's another reason I didn't put 40% in my profit percentage because I may not get quite that deal, but you're taking all the major overhead out of the traditional restaurant. So just some other things, bolt-ons, complementary businesses we might do. Might actually, start some food trucks with the same kind of thing. I started thinking, because I was Googling, how much does a trailer cost? I'm like, in this particular state there was like 4 or 5 different companies that are making food trucks, food trailers. So I'm like, if I'm going to start adding a bunch of these, maybe I need to buy one of those companies.
Do you know what I would do, Chris? Right? I'll tell you what I would do with this business, right? You've nailed this. I love this a lot. So by creating the brand awareness and by having the people visiting these things when they're in the area, what I would then do, because you can't DoorDash from the trucks themselves, right? What you could do is you could set up a little kitchen in the middle of nowhere, and you could basically put this on DoorDash so that obviously when people are in the area they're visiting, they go to the established trucks, but then you could replicate the same food and DoorDash it for way higher than 40% margins. So that would be another kind of add-on that you could do down the line once the whole brand awareness is kind of built up. But I absolutely love this. This is so cool.
Yeah.
I'm really hungry. This has made me hungry.
Yeah. To me, a great taco starts with a tortilla. Is there a regional tortilla company somewhere you could look at? Salsa sauce, you take some signature recipes, and you start, they already have a little retail component. Well, what if we sell you some salsa along with a t-shirt? In the kind of a different vein, many years of working in food and beverage, you're going to end up with a relationship with a refrigeration guy and a guy who works on kitchen equipment. So maybe you got to have your own little company there. And then number 6, I was like, if you put all this stuff together, couldn't you franchise it?
Crazy. Yeah. No, I love this. This is really, really cool. So what's the deal structure on the existing business?
Questions here. Let me see if I can
what's the asking price on the original?
Asking price is right now $1 million.
Okay.
Here, I'm going to stop my share for a minute. Sorry. I am technologically challenged. Let me get
what's his reason for selling, Chris?
She is tired. She's old. She's probably 60 years old. I need to dig into a little bit more on it's an interesting dynamic. The guy who started it and still runs the kitchen does not own it. It was phrased to me, and the owner was an artist. And this is a very remote area of, mid-Atlantic beach. Remote as you can be, without giving everything away. It's actually on an island, which is probably why no one's done it. But it was the owner's, she put it as, I took it over from the original owner. Obviously, they have a good relationship because he's still working there. So she just, she's probably not a food and beverage person. She's probably made some money and just wants to get out. This is, here, let me put here's the financial input. I mean, it's super, super clean. If you look at the numbers, I mean, they didn't have any ad backs. They didn't put any ad backs on, and the owner is not taking any sort of salary. So it's all in the profit, but the chef is in the salaries, which is part of that SG&A number. They had a couple ad backs that were like about fixing equipment that I was like, well, technically that's not really an ad back, because maybe I got to fix the fryer this year, but next year I may not fix the fryer, but I'm spending money fixing something.
Hey, Chris, if you're going through a model, we can't see it. You didn't show it.
I am. I'm sorry.
Oh, right. Don't worry about it.
Let me get back to.
I almost think the numbers are irrelevant on this, to be honest with you. I think the opportunity is just so powerful. I'll tell you what I would do, right? If this was my deal, I'd tell you what I would do, right? So I go and see if you can get a little bit of financing against the assets, or worst case, just an investor for like $100,000, right? And I'd pay the seller $100K up front, and I would say to her, look, this is my vision. This is my plan. The fact that she's tired, she won't mind this. I'd say, look, this is my vision. This is my plan. Just picture what you've just showed us. I'd say, hey, would you be interested in coming as my partner? Let's blow this up to be a $10-20 million business. This is what we're going to do. Give her 50, 100K as a closing payment. She drops her business into the group. You split the partnership. So let's say you have 60%, she has 20. Your investor comes in and takes 20 as well. Acquire that business, and then I think with the SBA and with other investors, you then execute on the growth. But I would definitely challenge you to do at least 2 a year, because it's not like opening a manufacturing facility. These things should be very, very quick and easy to set up. And I'd look to try and add 2 a year, and then with the cash flow that you generate, you'll be able to attract additional financing. So then I think you could hire somebody that their job is just to basically commission the new trucks, get them up and running. So you could probably accelerate that growth curve as well.
Yeah. And you know, the one I've thought about that, Carl, and this would be my question. Even though she owns the business, I'm not sure she's the key person. To me, the key person in this is the original founder and the guy who runs the kitchen now. He's got all, I mean, it's still his name on the business.
Yeah.
And to the point where when we started looking this just like a week and a half ago, Michelle joined a Facebook group of this resort area. And it just so happened that when she signed up and clicked on the Facebook group, on that exact day, someone had just asked, "Hey, we're coming over. Where do we go for lunch?" And somebody immediately responded to this taco trailer.
Yeah.
And then the guy who's the original owner and really runs the thing, she sells the owner now sells t-shirts and does back office. But the guy, he responded immediately, "Oh, I'm sorry, we don't open until the end of March." So he's still actively, I'm not sure he's not the key person, but I'm trying to understand that dynamic and figuring out, the best way to go.
Yeah, I think there's so much you could do with this, and I think you could get super, super creative on this as well, potentially. Yeah, I really like this a lot. Happy to chat offline about this, Chris, if you want.
Okay. Yeah, I would love to.
Yeah, let me noodle on this overnight, and then I'll give you a call. I'll give you some thoughts on this. I think this is a really cool idea.
Okay. Here's the financial.
I'd be willing to get in. I'd be willing to get involved in this as an investor as well. I think this is a really, really cool opportunity. So I'll tell you a funny story. I was in Australia a couple of weeks ago, and I went to this brewery in Brisbane, and we just went out there. Hey, let's just go in and have a drink, right? I spent $1,000 in that place. They upsold me on everything, right? We started drinking the beer. And then we bought a whole bunch of merch. And then there was a food truck as part of it. So we had some food. It wasn't tacos, it was like barbecue. And then we bought the sauce and all this kind of crazy stuff, right? So once I was in there, started having a few drinks, $1,000 later, I bought half the store and it was incredible. So I can kind of imagine a similar vibe. Places like this, right? It's all about the customer experience. It's all about how does the customer feel when they're consuming the product, when they're in the environment. The taco is not the business. They're not in the taco business. They're in the customer experience business, right? This could be like the Apple of the taco industry, right? I think you could do something pretty freaking incredible with this, which is why I made it my favorite deal of the day.